Hello and welcome to Mega Conference QuizBowl. I'm your host, John Webster. Today's game is between Taylor Kennedy High School and Dearborn High School. The Taylor Kennedy team is coached by Barry Waltz and Lisa Merwin. Kennedy students, would you please introduce yourselves?
I'm Mike Anderson, senior captain.
Christine Diorio, senior.
Amanda Draft, sophomore.
And John Diorio, sophomore.
Okay, thank you. The Dearborn team is coached by John Lunders. Dearborn students, would you please introduce yourselves now?
Samson Lai, junior. Danny Zen, junior.
Paul West, senior. J.O. Skeens, senior.
Okay, thanks. The first quarter of our game consists of 12 toss-up questions worth 10 points each. Teams may not confer. Please wait until I call on you before responding. Okay, here we go. The United Nations Library, dedicated in 1961, was named after this Secretary General. Identify this man who was killed in a plane crash earlier that year. Okay, time. That was Dag Hammarskjöld from Sweden. Which amendment to the U.S. Constitution sets forth the federal income tax? Paul?
7th.
Incorrect. Mike?
15th.
No, it's the 16th. Okay, pencil and paper will be needed. Find the first derivative of the following function. 2x to the 6th minus 3x to the 5th plus x to the 4th minus 9x cubed minus 2x squared plus 9x plus 51. Christine, there's no conferring. Paul?
12x to the 5th minus 15x to the 4th minus 4x cubed minus 14x plus 9.
Incorrect. Christine?
12x to the 5th minus 15x to the 4th plus 4x to the 3rd minus 27x to the 2nd minus 4x.
Incorrect. You were fine up everything you did at the end was plus 9. Okay, next question. Coined in 1925 from the Germans for trash, it referred to the popular art of the day. What term can refer to any art or writing of a pretentious but shallow nature? Christine?
Schlock.
Incorrect. Pretentious but shallow nature calculated to have popular appeal. Okay, time. That's kitsch. It was a great bronze statue erected around 280 BC and was said to be 105 feet high. Identify this image of the... John?
The Colossus of Rhodes.
Correct. He was made Prince of the Holy Roman Empire in 1687, who became Regent of Hungary in 1681 and distinguished himself in war against the Turks. Mike?
Ottoman.
Incorrect. Okay, time. It's Peter Esterhazy. Who is the man who brokered the Missouri Compromise and the Compromise of 1850 and is thus known as the Great Compromiser? Danny?
Benjamin Franklin.
Incorrect. Okay, time. That's Henry Clay. At what 1815 meeting did the leaders of Europe meet to determine the post-Napoleonic fate of Europe? Okay, time. That's the Congress of Vienna. What is the common state bird of all of the following states? Arkansas, Florida, Mississippi, Tennessee, and Texas. Jacob?
A dove.
Incorrect. Mike?
Cardinal.
No, it's the mockingbird. Identify the 19th century Russian composer who wrote the opera Boris Godunov and composed the piano suite Pictures at an Exhibition. Samson?
Mussorgsky.
Correct. On October 27th, a series of deadly explosions ripped through Baghdad, where which building was among those targeted? Jacob?
The U.S. Embassy.
Incorrect. Okay, time, it's the Red Cross building. India recently unveiled unprecedented proposals to normalize relations with what country, which included, John?
China.
Incorrect. With what country, which included an offer to talk with separatist politicians in the disputed region of Kashmir? Danny?
Pakistan.
Correct. Okay, that ends the first quarter of our game. We'll be back to pick up with the second quarter in a minute.
My mom loves me, my mom loves me, my dad loves me.
Marriage wasn't an option.
My mom loves me, my mom loves me, my dad loves me.
Sure, I could have raised my baby on my own,
My mom loves me, my mom loves me, my dad loves me.
but there was so much I couldn't give her.
My mom loves me, my mom loves me, my dad loves me.
Things she'd really need.
My mom loves me, my mom loves me, my dad loves me.
Like a mom and a dad.
Emily, we're over here.
They all love me.
Let's go home and plant some flowers.
Adoption.
It wasn't about giving my baby up. I'll be right there.
It's about love.
It was about giving her more.
A message from LDS Family Services.
Second quarter of our game is about to begin. This round consists of 8 toss-up questions worth 10 points each. The correct answer entitles that team to bonus questions worth 20 points. Teams may confer on the bonuses, but only the captains may give the answers. Okay, here we go with the toss-up. From what Broadway show do the following songs come? Movie in My Mind and Last Night of the World. Mike?
The Producers.
Incorrect. Paul?
Footloose.
Incorrect. It's Miss Saigon. Another toss-up. Joining the Republican Party, he was the presidential candidate in 1940, gaining a large popular vote. Who was this U.S. businessman and political leader who wrote One World, a plea for international cooperation? Okay, time. That was Wendell Willkie. In the year 303, he initiated the last universal persecution of Christians. Who was this Roman emperor ruling from 284 to 305 AD that divided the empire into 4 regions? Christine?
Caligula.
Incorrect. Samson?
Marcus Aurelius.
No, it was Diocletian. This pure metal is soft and malleable and has a bright silvery metallic luster. Name this chemical element with an atomic number 68 and the symbol of Er. Christine?
Erbium.
Correct. Okay, bonuses. The category is Canadian provinces. I'll give you the province, you give me the capital. Here we go. Who's the captain up there? Okay, Mike. Alberta.
No answer.
Okay, down to Dearborn.
Alberta.
No, it's Edmonton. Saskatchewan.
Regina.
Correct. New Brunswick.
No answer.
Okay, down to Dearborn. Paul?
New Brunswick.
Fredericton, nice try, but back up to Kennedy. Prince Edward Island.
Victoria.
Incorrect. Down to Dearborn.
We'll pass.
Charlottetown. Okay, another toss-up. He was governor of New York from 1943 to 1955 and declined the post of Chief Justice under Nixon. Name this U.S. lawyer and Republican presidential candidate defeated in 1944 by Franklin D. Roosevelt and in 1948 by Harry S. Truman. Mike?
Dewey.
Correct. Now we have Nobel Peace Prize questions. You name the person. This Anglican bishop of South Africa helped end apartheid and won in 1984. Mike?
Mandela.
Incorrect. Down to Dearborn. Paul?
Pass.
That's Desmond Tutu. A 1962 winner for his warning against the dangers of radioactive fallout and nuclear weapons testing and war.
Einstein.
Incorrect. Down to Dearborn.
Carter.
Linus Pauling. Back up to Kennedy. They shared the 1978 prize for the Camp David Accords.
Arafat and Rabin.
Incorrect. Down to Dearborn. Menachem Begin and Anwar Sadat. And for Kennedy again, this Albanian transplant to Calcutta won in 1979.
Mother Teresa.
Correct. Okay, another toss-up. It began with Philip VI and ended with Henry III. What was this French royal dynasty ruling the country from 1328 to 1582? Okay, time. That was the Valois dynasty. He wrote about ordinary life in New Jersey, especially evident in the long reflective poem Patterson. Name this 19th to 20th century U.S. poet and doctor who also wrote Picture from Bruegel and In the American Grain. Mike?
Frost.
Incorrect. Okay, time. William Carlos Williams. Another toss-up. Identify the African river that flows for 2,902 miles, is second longest on the continent after the Nile, and is the world's 8th longest river overall. John?
Zambezi.
Incorrect. Paul?
Euphrates.
No, it's the Zaire River. Okay, that ends the first half of the game. We'll be back in a minute to pick up with the third quarter.
We are in our 7th year at Cristo Rey Jesuit High School. It arose from the desire of the Jesuits in the Chicago province to serve the Hispanic community here in Chicago. One of the things that's unique about this school is that our kids work 5 days a month at offices in downtown Chicago to pay for their education. That idea originated here. We got telephone calls the first day from the companies thanking us for sending us those kids to their companies. The companies feel good about themselves. 95% of our kids are the first ones in their families to finish high school, and 87% of our graduates are in college right now. This project attracts wonderful, wonderful, enthusiastic, idealistic people. They have to have the desire to kind of reach for the stars. No one believed that it would be as successful as it is. Well, it's obviously caught on, and we're very, very excited about it.
Once it was silent, but the spirit of America made liberty ring. And once it was weak, but the spirit of America made hope stand tall. And if our spirit can do all this, imagine what we can do for all Americans in poverty. We can let liberty ring for millions of kids in need. We can let freedom stand for every family working for independence. Poverty in America, we can end it, and everyone can help. Learn how at povertyusa.org.
Okay, we're back to begin the third quarter of our match. The score after the first half is Taylor Kennedy High School 40 points and Dearborn High School 20 points. And we have subs to introduce on both teams. First, Kennedy.
Joshua Deverix, sophomore.
Edda Pudistatus, senior.
Okay, thanks. And for Dearborn?
Kyle Murphy, junior.
Okay, thank you. Third quarter of our game is our lightning round. Each team has 60 seconds to answer 10 questions. Teams may confer, but only the captains may give the answers. The trailing team, Dearborn in this case, has its first choice of these topics: countries and capitals, characters in American drama, Nobel Prize winning scientists.
Countries and capitals.
Okay. With 60 seconds on the clock, I'll give you the capital, you give me the country. Okay, here we go. Kabul.
Pass.
Windhoek.
Pass.
Lusaka.
Pass.
Conakry.
Pass.
Yaoundé.
Japan.
Incorrect. Bishkek.
Thailand.
Incorrect. Riga.
Pass.
Lilongwe.
Pass.
Muscat.
Pass.
Manzini.
Pass.
Back to Kabul.
Israel.
Incorrect. Windhoek.
Pass.
Lusaka.
Nigeria.
Incorrect. Conakry.
Pass.
Riga.
Norway.
Incorrect. Lilongwe.
Zimbabwe.
Incorrect. Muscat. And out of time. Now all 10 passed Kennedy with only 30 seconds on the clock. Okay, Kennedy, here we go. Kabul.
Afghanistan.
Correct. Windhoek.
Pass.
Lusaka.
Indonesia.
Incorrect. Conakry.
Indonesia.
Incorrect. Yaoundé.
Indonesia.
Incorrect. Bishkek.
Indonesia.
Incorrect. Riga.
Indonesia.
Incorrect. Lilongwe.
Indonesia.
Incorrect. Muscat.
Oman.
Correct. Manzini.
Indonesia.
Incorrect. And back to Windhoek that you passed on.
South Africa.
Incorrect. Okay, Windhoek is Namibia, Lusaka, Zambia, Conakry, Guinea, Yaoundé, Cameroon, Bishkek, Kazakhstan, Riga, Latvia, Lilongwe, Malawi, and Manzini, Swaziland. Probably not the countries you thought I was going to ask, right? All those little African countries and stuff that nobody's ever heard of. Okay, now Kennedy, characters in American drama or Nobel Prize winning scientists?
Characters in American drama.
Okay, 60 seconds on the clock. Supply the drama that each pair of characters or family appears in. Here we go. Honey and Nick.
Pass.
Bertie and Oscar Hubbard.
Bye Bye Birdie.
Incorrect. John and Elizabeth Proctor.
The Crucible.
Correct. Biff and Happy Loman.
Death of a Salesman.
Correct. Brutus Jones and Smithers.
The Simpsons.
Incorrect. Emily and Wally Webb.
Our Town.
Correct. Big Daddy and Brick.
Pass.
The Vanderhole family.
Pass.
Harry Hope and Hickey.
Pass.
Stanley and Stella Kowalski.
A Streetcar Named Desire.
Correct. Back to Honey and Nick.
Pass.
Big Daddy and Brick.
Pass.
Vanderhole family. Okay, out of time. 2, 3, 4. You got 4 correct. So now 6 pass to Dearborn with 30 seconds on the clock. Dearborn, Honey and Nick.
Gone with One.
Incorrect. Bertie and Oscar Hubbard.
Gone with One.
Incorrect. Brutus Jones and Smithers.
Pass.
Big Daddy and Brick.
Gone with the Wind.
Incorrect. Vanderhole family.
Gone with the Wind.
Incorrect. Harry, Hope, and Hickey.
Pass.
Back. Okay. By the way, Gone with the Wind is not drama. It's a novel. So if you started with a play, you'd be better off. Honey and Nick are from Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. Bertie and Oscar Hubbard, Little Foxes by Lillian Hellman. Brutus Jones and Smithers, Emperor Jones. Big Daddy and Brick, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. Vanderhole family, You Can't Take It With You. Oh, and Harry, Hope, and Hickey, The Iceman Cometh. Okay, that ends the third quarter. We'll be back in a minute to finish up this game.
The outlook wasn't brilliant for the Mudville Nine who sat. For Casey, mighty Casey, was advancing to the bat. Close by the sturdy batsman, the ball unheeded sped.
That's not my style.
Said Casey.
Strike one!
The umpire said. She signaled to the pitcher, and once more the spheroid flew. But Casey still ignored it, and the umpire said.
Strike two!
And now, something different than we read about in the poem. Casey thought of summer days and times she'd spent at home. She relaxed, and her confidence, well, it grew. Now somewhere men are laughing and children having fun. But tonight, there's joy in Mudville. For mighty Casey hit a home run.
Family. Isn't it about time?
From the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Fourth quarter is about to begin. This round consists of 15 toss-up questions worth 20 points each. Here we go. This country is officially known as Suomen Tasavalta and is home to the great nationalist composer Sibelius. Name this nation with Helsinki as its capital. Josh?
Finland.
Correct. This colonial leader was made commander of the Ohio-Indiana area in 1792 and established the American Legion. Identify this mad colonel. Kyle?
Andrew Jackson.
Incorrect. Okay, time. I thought you might know this. We're in Wayne County. It's Mad Anthony Wayne. Wayne State University, Wayne County, named after him. He was officially elected president on January 13th, 1953, and remained in office until his death in 1980. Name this longtime leader of Yugoslavia. Christine?
Tito.
Correct. In the Bible, it says that God chose Abraham out of this city of the Chaldees. Christine? Correct. This African country gained full independence in 1990. Identify this nation where the Southwest African Peoples Organization, or SWAPO, gained a majority of seats in the Assembly the same year. Mike?
South Africa.
Incorrect. Paul?
Zaire.
Incorrect. It's Namibia. This U.S. Secretary of the Interior denied one Indian tribe the land to build a casino in favor of another tribe, the latter having coincidentally contributed more than $350,000 to the Democratic Party. Name this suspect secretary. Christine?
Christine Todd Whitman.
Incorrect. Okay, time a little earlier. Bruce Babbitt. In reptiles, birds, and mammals, it is attached at one end to the testes and opens into the vas deferens at the other. Name the long coiled tube in which spermatozoa are stored in vertebrates. Okay, time, that's the epididymis. What immortal star of movie westerns once referred to Clint Eastwood as my only logical successor? Mike?
John Wayne.
Correct. This American composer's works are often used on network TV sports coverage. Name this composer of Fanfare for the Common. Paul?
Aaron Copland.
Correct. She married William Godwin in 1797 and died giving birth to Mary Shelley. Name this 18th century. Mike?
Mary Wollstonecraft.
Correct. He studied and traveled in Europe in 1888 to 1900, then taught in New York, where he organized the 1908 expedition of the Eight. Name this American painter and art teacher and founder of the Ashcan School. Paul?
George Ashcan.
Incorrect. Educated guesses, Paul. Okay, time, it's Robert Henry. It was first climbed by E.A. Fitzgerald's expedition in 1897. Mike?
Mount Everest.
Incorrect. Name the snow-capped peak in the Andes, the highest in the Western Hemisphere. Okay, time, it's Mount Aconcagua. It covers more than 1 million square miles and was once the second largest Soviet republic. Identify this republic whose natives are mostly descendants of Muslim nomads. Christine?
Kazakhstan.
Correct. Name the former U.S. president who recently announced an ambitious program to help developing countries fight AIDS by enlisting 4 companies to offer AIDS-fighting drugs at 1/3 the price. Mike?
Carter.
Incorrect. Jacob?
Bill Clinton.
Correct. President George W. Bush was a former owner of which Major League Baseball franchise? Paul?
Texas Rangers.
Correct. Okay, that ends the game. We'll be back in a minute for the final score.
Don't you have some math to do?
In a minute.
Why wait?
Math helps us analyze data, track patterns.
Invest in our future.
And algebra gives us a way to make sense of information.
To solve problems.
Using geometry, we can design anything.
It's so cool. We can change things.
Make better things. Invent new things.
Started on your math yet?
Yeah.
Do math, and you can do anything.
The final score of today's game is Taylor Kennedy High School 220 points and Dearborn High School 80 points. Congratulations to both teams for a good game. In our next match, Dearborn Heights Crestwood High School will face Dearborn High School. Please join us then. This is John Webster saying goodbye for Mega Conference Quiz Bowl.